Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to this special edition of the show titled Chiropractic Spotlights, Meet America's Leading Chiropractors. I'm Mark Imperial. My next guest is Dr. Awais Butt from Douglasville, Georgia. Dr. Awais, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Dr. Awais, please introduce yourself, give us the name of your practice, and tell us about the types of clients that you help.
Yes, our office is called Planet Chiropractic. We've been serving our community for over a decade. The biggest thing about our office is, as opposed to conventional chiropractors are great for offering temporary relief. However, with our office, we are doing structural correction. So it's not like a patch, but more like a fix. So we're able to correct the spine into a healthier position. This way we can offer the patient long-term results.
Terrific. Can you tell us what's the most common condition or ailment that you find your patients face when they come to see you?
Majority of the time, it is either a neck or back pain-related issue. That's majority of the time.
Oh, right on. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about, how chiropractic helps that, because a lot of folks are still in the dark as far as how chiropractic works.
Yes, I'd love to do that. One of the biggest things, as I've mentioned before, is there is definitely different types of chiropractors. Our office is more focused on structurally correcting the spine. So once a patient comes in, we establish what their spine looks like, alignment and structure-wise. We compare to what the normal spine should be. And literally through our restorations and our treatment, we're able to get the spine back into a normal position. We are monitoring this through x-rays, so the patient physically sees their spine changing, which is very motivating to them, because now not only is their pain getting better, but they're actually seeing things getting corrected.
Chiropractic's been around for so long, and there's a lot of information out there and also a lot of misinformation. So what would you say are some of the biggest myths or misconceptions that you hear out there about chiropractic?
Okay, so definitely there is, a few misunderstandings, and the reality is I can Google any topic and find positives and negatives on it these days. But sometimes people think, when we're doing the treatment, sometimes when you do a treatment on a patient, they get like a popping noise, and sometimes people even associate it with cracking. There's actually no cracking going on. The goal is not to hurt the patient. But when you're moving the joint into a healthier position, realigning the spine, sometimes the joints have airspace in them. And as you move the joint, that releases air. The medical term for this is cavitation. But you do get sometimes a popping noise. But again, we're not cracking any bones. It's literally like as if you were to kind of like pull on your finger and you get a little pop out of it in the joint. It's just air releasing from the joint. So there's a misconception that we're cracking, but it's not really cracking. It is adjustments, and sometimes you do get cavitations with it. Other than that, there's even a misunderstanding like once you go, you have to go forever. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I can never force my patients to do anything. We do have patients that enjoy a higher quality of life. So chiropractic is part of their healthy lifestyle. So, maybe they originally came in because their back was bothering them. And once they start getting the treatment, they just realize how much better their body's functioning overall. So a lot of them do choose to make chiropractic part of their healthy lifestyle. So just like, they're going to eat healthy for the rest of their life, they're going to, exercise for the rest of their life, they're going to do positive things for their body to keep themselves healthy. Chiropractic becomes another thing that they're doing just to, experience life at a better level.
I see. So it sounds like it's not just for people that are in pain, but people that just want to maintain a healthy regimen.
Yeah, it's it's a good and bad thing that we do get boxed into a neck pain, back pain modality. The profession was never really made for that. The profession was made to correct the spine into a healthier position so the person's body works better. And of course, when you make the person's body work better, their pain is going to alleviate. So, it is kind of like a double-edged sword that we got boxed into this neck pain, back pain. But the goal is not to just alleviate pain. That just happens because we're moving your body in the right direction. But the goal is to get the person to function and heal at the highest level that their body can allow.
That makes sense. Dr. Awais, what inspired you to become a DC? How'd you get started?
So it was originally, I had my experience with chiropractic. I was in high school and, just being silly and lifted the wrong things and hurt my back, and went the regular medical route. And the medication did help, being that it alleviated my pain, but I just didn't like how they made me feel, and I knew that I wasn't fixing anything. I was just kind of masking the symptoms with the pain medication. And an amazing friend of mine that I was working with, she suggested that I would go to a chiropractor. Sadly, even in my experience with chiropractic was just through medical doctors, and it just coincidentally happened to be the doctor wasn't a fan of chiropractic, so I did have a negative view from him. But my friend was like, "Well, you're doing all these other things and it's not working. What's the harm? Just go check it out." And I went to the chiropractor's office, and everything that came out of his mouth just made perfect sense to me. I was like, I don't know what the problem here is. Everything you're saying, I can rationalize in my head and make sense out of it. And the best part was, after a few treatments, my back was feeling much, much better. I had burning going down my legs, so I couldn't even sit for longer than 15, 20 minutes without my leg just starting to burn. And all those symptoms alleviated. And not only that, I was athletically active, so even my athletic ability started to improve. So I really got excited about that. I was like, wow, I don't get it why this thing has a negative impression on people when it's such an amazing thing, and there's no side effects to it. It's all natural. They're just making my body work better, and I'm experiencing the results. So it got me really excited. I had a great chiropractor that I started working with in the beginning, and he suggested, if you like it so much, and I did want to be in healthcare, so he pointed me into chiropractic, and the rest is straight kind of deal.
That's terrific. Before I ask you the last question, is there anything important that you might want to share about chiropractic that I didn't think to ask?
Well, it's a good job kind of covering the basics, but I would love for the community to understand that there's a reason why back issues are so epidemic in our population. If not the person listening, their family members or even their parents, everybody sadly is having trouble with their back. And here's a service out there that's main purpose is to keep your spine healthy. And it just surprises me that it's not being utilized as much as it should. And things have changed. Our culture uses chiropractic more than ever before. So it is changing in a positive direction. But I'm hoping, and we try to do our best to educate our community that this is a great way to have preventative care where you don't have problems in the future. Sadly, so many people lose all this time from work and not even able to work or not able to do things with their family. You'd be amazed how many times people come in and, hey, I just want to be able to play with my kids. So it's robbing them of quality of life. And here's a great service that can help you avoid that. So take advantage, please.
This has been terrific information. For our listeners out there that can resonate with your message, and if they want to come out and see you, how can people learn more and find you?
Absolutely. So if we're always, the greatest thing about our office is we offer a complimentary consultation. This allows for a person to come in and we'll literally, have the doctor sit down with you and discuss your health concerns and what your goals are. And based on that, we will, tell you what exams, what treatment, how we're going to be taking care of you. And we offer that at complimentary. We've done that for years, and it's been a great service for the community. Just if anybody wanted to come in and see if this is something that they can, utilize. So they can go through our website. Our website is planetchiropracticga@gmail.com, or they can contact us directly. The office number is 770-783-1799.
Dr. Awais, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with our listeners today. I know that chiropractic's helped so many people that are in pain, from back pain to neck pain, and also a lot of sports athletes and people that just want to stay in top condition and have their bodies functioning properly. So I appreciate you sharing with us today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your patients.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you doing this interview with me.
I'm Mark Imperial, and this is the program spotlighting noteworthy professionals, experts, and business owners from around the world and in your town. If you know a great business or professional that we should feature on the program, I'd like to hear from you. You could nominate them by emailing me at radio@markimperial.com. Once again, that's radio@markimperial.com. In this next segment, our home stretch, I've got a special treat for you. If you're a business owner or professional, or if you aspire to be one, for over 7 years, I've been interviewing leading experts and business celebrities and sharing their secrets to success with you. From my first show, Entrepreneur's Edge, to Game Changers Radio, to Mad Rocket Business, all the way to Remarkable Radio and this program today, in this home stretch, I'm bringing you a flashback to one of my most popular episodes, covering how to attract clients magnetically using only the power of words and without costly branding. So enjoy this very special edition home stretch, and here we go.
Now, get the edge. Here are Mark and Tom.
Hey, welcome to the show. It's Mark Imperial, another power thinking hour here at Entrepreneur's Edge.
Mark, this is Tom Rebar, and it is time for all the capitalists and all of the entrepreneurs and the self-employed people and the professionals in private practice and all the sales and marketing pros to come out of the woodwork and put their feet up and join together.
That's right.
And learn for an hour.
That's right. So welcome back, everybody. And we've got a terrific show. We're recapping a fantastic week that we had here at Entrepreneur's Edge. We just had our Entrepreneur's Edge live event last Wednesday, and boy, it was a hoot. The party was jumping. I'm telling you, they almost had to kick us out of that hotel.
They did, and there's nothing like talking about advertising and copywriting that gets people out of their chairs, because once you start talking about that, people realize that even if you thought you knew everything there was to know about it, you realize there's more to learn and more to still learn.
Yeah, the place was absolutely on fire. We had Conrad Hall and Ken Schreiber join us and speaking on copywriting and writing the words that sell your business. What better way to get to the bullet points of that than to recap what we talked about at Wednesday's event?
Go for it.
And you know what? In fact, if you missed it, you really missed a hugely valuable opportunity to boost your response. Because I'm talking about, we talked about headlines and postcard and copy that got 4 to 5 times the response of another control. So that's a 400 to 500% increase by just changing the words on the paper. How many folks don't think about that?
A whole bunch.
So we started out, one of our guest speakers, Ken Schreiber, he was talking about lead generation and the minute differences about generating leads with your copy as opposed to like using sales conversion. Now, one of the key points and takeaways he talked about, he started out, check this out. The first thing he said when he got up on the stage is he said, "Who here wants a surefire way to get new customers or prospects without any marketing cost?" And all the hands went up, right?
Mine went up.
Yeah.
I was the first one.
Now, guess what? He says that was the first lesson in lead generation. You are trying to identify exactly with the person, what is it that they want. So if you have the right market, the right list, and then you give them that question, who wants this solution? And you're talking directly at a person, and they raise their hand and identify. That is it. That's as simple as that. And then you make them an offer that they just can't refuse.
Because all you want is to find out who those people are who are willing to raise their hand.
Yeah, and you could adapt that into any business type that you can. Now look at this. Another key is speaking directly at that target person. If you get a list, if you're doing a mailing, a postcard mailing, and you know who that customer is you're looking for, you identify it and you speak directly at their problems. You have to identify, and we talked about this, I call it the hidden benefit, because you have to you think about your customer and think of all the problems that they have in their lives, because what you are is you're a problem solver. That brings up another point. A lot of business owners, a lot of businesses out there, they make the mistake, and we had some folks talk about this in the room as well. I say, what is your ad about? What was the message you put in your marketing? And they said, well, a discount, a discount or percentage off. And the reality is that they're trying to sell their product directly. And we say that kind of hurts your response, because when you try to sell your product directly, the only people that are responding are those that are ready to buy like your widget or your thing right now.
At that immediate point in time.
So it's about transcending timing. So we're going to be back after this break and continue, because we've got a lot of nuggets that came out of that event on writing words that sell. BusinessEdgeRadio.com. Go to the website, get our free gift, and we'll be right back after this.
Stay with us.
Business owners and entrepreneurs. Once again, Here's Mark and Tom.
Hey, welcome back to your Power Thinking Hour for entrepreneurs and business owners. It's Mark Imperial.
This is Tom Rebar. Hey, Mark, let's go back to that the story you were telling right before the break about the person who was going for the jugular and trying to make the big sale right out of the gate. Let's try to make sure we bring the loop fully closed there. What do you do to get around that?
Well, let's see. As I mentioned, a lot of business owners, they think, they're not, they're in the mindset of I got to sell my thing. So they're focused on how can I sell my thing? Let me present my product or my service and let me give a discount or a coupon. That's like the knee-jerk reaction to what they're offering.
And then when people don't buy, right away they think, my price is still too high, so they get into this headset of, now I got a further discount.
Yeah, they're focusing on the wrong thing, and it's because they get a low response rate. But our answer to that, what we know from testing, is that the low response rate is because you're not transcending timing. You're making an offer for people that are ready to buy right that minute. But then when somebody is in the buying cycle, but they're not just quite ready to buy yet, and maybe a month down the road, they forgot all about you. You're only picking up the immediate buyers. You have to find a way to transcend the timing, and we do that with lead generation.
And it has nothing to do with price.
That's right.
Get price out of your head that it's not that your price is too high.
That's often the last thing to even consider is the price. I mean, the example that I'm going to give you and for the listeners is we had a terrific home remodeling company in the audience and asked us how do we directly link what we're talking about here at the event to his type of business. I said, is there a business that feels like they don't know how to link this lead generation strategy to theirs? And then he raised his hand and he said, home remodeling. What do I do? And I said, what are you doing currently to get your business? He said, I did a mailing. What was the offer on the mailing? It was a discount of some sort. And we told him the same thing. You're selling a discount. You're only going to pick up the buyers ready to buy now. And then he said, well, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is you want to find people that may not just be thinking about buying right now, but maybe they're already in their head. You know what? 6 months from now, a year from now, I know I'm going to have a move. How are you going to get those people to identify themselves so you can continue to stay in front of them? Well, we said, why don't you offer a report called, the 7 deadly traps and how to avoid them, how to save blah, blah, blah on your remodeling costs, how to get how to remodel your kitchen, your home or whatever, and save the maximum. 7 deadly traps, a report that is going to be useful to that prospect. That way, even if it's 6 months or a year from now that they're thinking about the move, they still want that free report. That little trick alone increases the response 4 or 5 times.
Easily. And you could tell that this fella, because I was sitting across the room from him, he had a big smile on his face as soon as you started to unveil that story, because you could tell right away he got it. Mm-hmm. And head kind of went back into oh, that makes sense right away to him. So
that's right.
He was a very smart person.
Yeah. So, back to the list of what Ken Schreiber was speaking about, he's, another nugget was speak directly at him. Who is it that you're mailing to and what is their direct problem? The next point is everyone's favorite radio station besides WIND is WIIFM. What's in it for me?
Exactly.
So that, literally the headline or the message that you put on your mailing pieces has to address directly at them because it has to pass that test. Conrad Hall mentioned this, the so what test. You read your headline, whatever you consider your headline, and run it through your own head and say, okay, I read something and so what? Is it going to make you say so what, or is it going to intrigue you to read further?
Well, in fact, he even suggests to do that for every one of your bullets. When you put the bullet there, just read it out loud and say, now, so what? What is that person going to answer if they read it and you say, so what, to give yourself a chance to substantiate that bullet in your head?
Yes, that's right.
Is it a worthy bullet?
Yep. And I have a litmus test actually for you. Let's first of all, let's wrap up with what Conrad was talking about before we even go into the litmus test on headlines. But, Conrad has a great description for copywriting. He said it's the art of using words to create action. Now think about that. The art of using words to create action. How many folks really think of their advertising in that way? The most of the time I see people doing an advertisement, it's like the name of their company or their logo. How does that create any action?
One of the one of the best testimonials for last night was I brought my assistant along to your summit. He is just beginning to think about the art of copywriting. And when we left, he said that was one of the best meetings he's ever been to. And he got more notes in a short period of time about how to write copy than he ever thought he would by coming along last night.
It's incredible. And, a lot of the stuff that, many of our pros in Mastermind, for example, we take it for granted because we've been so immersed in this kind of marketing, but it's eye-opening for many. For example, one of the big keys that was huge for everyone in the room was when Ken Schreiber described, and remember the headline, who else here wants to know how to acquire new customers and prospects without any acquisition cost, right? Now, how do you do it without acquisition cost? Well, if you were at the summit, I don't have enough time in the next 4 minutes to tell you, but you can do, it was a brilliant strategy he had about liquidating your marketing costs. Mm-hmm. And so you have to be at Entrepreneur's Edge live events. And these are the kind of things that we talk about. So, this is probably the best time ever to give a plug for the next live event. Make sure you go to Business Edge Live or businessedgeradio.com, click on the live events tab, and you're going to find the next meeting in Madison, the next meeting in Green Bay, and the next meeting in Oak Brook. Hey, we've only got about a minute here, and I want to talk about one bullet. I have about 12 here.
Go ahead.
But let's talk about the headline, because what is the headline? The headline of your ad is the ad for your ad. Does that make sense? And what is the only job of the headline?
The only job of the headline is to shout it out and get somebody to be interested in taking the next step, which is to read what else is there.
Read the next line, absolutely. And it's the most valuable real estate on your ad or your postcard or your mailing. And what do most companies inadvertently waste in that space? What do they do in that space instead?
How many people put the name of their company or their logo up at the top of the ad or the top of their website, and then they wonder why nobody's reading it? It's because they never had a headline there.
Hey, in the wrap-up, I'm going to give my litmus test for great headlines for all the listeners. After the break, Tom Apicella from Think Spaces in Naperville, Illinois, will be joining us to give us his tips, tricks, and secrets for furnishing your office. We'll be right back. BusinessEdgeRadio.com.
We'll be here. Stay with us. BusinessEdgeRadio.com for all the events.
Hey, we're back. It's Mark Imperial.
And this is Tom Rebar. We are in the home stretch again. Mark, I can't believe another week has gone by so fast.
That's right. Hey, we're back here with Tom Apicella from Think Spaces in Naperville, Illinois. Hey, Tom, I wanted to ask you, you just recently joined our mastermind group here at Entrepreneur's Edge. Can you tell me what drew you to the group and what you're getting out of it so far?
Well, what drew me to the mastermind group is, I want to have other like-minded entrepreneurs and people that I can basically bounce ideas off of, talk about my business to help expand it. Because as a lot of people know, there's a lot of businesses in one business that you can extrapolate from. So just having that, and then it's also, for accountability when you come up with new strategies and ideas, there's some accountability because they're going to ask you, what did you do with what you said you were going to do with last month?
Yeah.
And, action is the way to make things happen in business.
Now, that's terrific. And now for the folks listening, whether they're a property manager or a business owner looking to move or improve their spaces, how can they get a hold of you for your information?
You can go to thinkspaces.net and you can fill out one of our interior design contact forms, or there's a phone number on there that you can call, 630-324-4598.
Tom, it was terrific having you on the show. Thank you for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy the show.
Terrific. Thank you. Tom, we're on the home stretch now.
We are. I can't believe it.
Now, I promised a litmus test for people to test whether their headlines are any good.
So give them.
All right, here it is. Now, this is sort of like the classified test, if you think of like a classified ad. And what are the classified ads all about? It's usually a small, tiny little ad, right?
Very small.
With just, you don't have enough room to put anything but a blurb and a call to action, a CTA, like a phone number, right?
That's exactly right.
So what you do is you take whatever you think is your headline, and then you neuter out everything else and just put your your phone number or whatever your response mechanism is under it. And if the two make sense and entice you to move forward, like let me give you an example. What do most people use as their headline that's wrong? And we talk about this a lot. The company name, right?
Name and maybe a logo.
So let's look at the litmus test. A to Z painting, phone number. Now, is that entice you to take any action?
So who'd call with A to Z painting and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9?
That's right. There's no words that cause action. Now, what if the headline, let me think just off of the top of my head here. Let's use an example for a bowling alley, okay? Something weird. Now, what if the headline said how to bowl a 300 every time and then a phone number? Now, that causes you a little bit more enticement to call that number.
Sure
So
would.
there's a difference between that's the litmus test. Take your headline and put just the headline and the phone number or response mechanism. And is that enough to make somebody take some action? That's the litmus test.
Great test.
So that makes every word count.
Hopefully nobody just puts that in an ad, a headline and a phone number. It'd be nice to have a little more copy than that. But I understand what the litmus test is.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what we talked about. And it's about all the time we had to talk about today was headlines, but
Yes.
It's the most important piece. What else do we know about headlines? Headlines are the most important part of the ad. You remember at the event, I gave you 3 headlines that were tested. And I'll tell you what, let's do the test right now. One of the headlines got 5 times the response of the other 2. Was it headline A, I've never been able to get a good portrait of my child until now? Or B, finally a children's portrait worth more than the paper it's printed on? Or C, the best children's portrait at the right price guaranteed? We did this test. People raised their hand. The room was about split. But the answer is B. And again, we said, what's the reason why? Everyone gave reasons that they thought why B won. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. You just have to test.
And everybody's afraid to test.
And guess what? They didn't change any other part of the ad.
Customer.
Just the headline.
Hey, go out to businessedgeradio.com. We have Wayne Brightbath coming this next month in March up in Green Bay and Madison. He's going to talk about business use of LinkedIn. Unbelievable ideas. So come and see us.
See you later. Hey, it's Mark Imperial. I hope you enjoyed those highlights. Again, if you know a professional or business that we should feature on the show, you could nominate them by emailing me at radio@markimperial.com. One more time, that's radio@markimperial.com. Until next time, this is Mark Imperial. Make it a remarkable week. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.